Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up as always. I've never said we had a bad show lined up. We got a good show lined up. But first, our weather brought to us by Panhandle Tactical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today is going to be 88. I missed it a few degrees yesterday. Didn't get quiet. It got a little bit warmer than we thought, but it's been nice getting this north-northeast wind. But it's going to be switching around today. The low is going to be all the way down to 73. The water temperature dropped from 89 to 88. So it dropped just, again, I can't get over the importance of telling how hot it is this time of year. A lot of fish are moving inshore, near shore and all because of this warm water. A lot of activity out there on the Gulf, and we'll get to that later. Now take a look at our river readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood and Restaurant up on Highway 77, just north of Bozeman School. Now, Appalachian color keeps on dropping out, folks. This is below 4 foot at Bluntstown. It's at 3.4. And that's the first time it's been that low in quite a while, since the beginning of the summer. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville is also below 4 foot, is at a 3.8. So our rain is sort of, we just hadn't gotten the rain like we got way too much rain for a while. Now, lately, we ain't got a lot of rain, and the river is reflecting that. So you can see right there on the screen what happened. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today's Tuesday, August 29th. We're looking at a high of 306 this morning. It's going to start dropping out a little bit, and we got a 231 low tide. So we've got an outgoing tide all morning. If you like to fish an outgoing tide, this is your morning, all right? The marine forecast, interestingly, is still north-northeast early this morning. It's going to swing on around to east and then come to south-southeast at about 5 to 10, making that little turn, and it's going to be coming in off the Gulf now the rest of the day. Okay, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get started with some pictures. We've had, all week long last week and through the weekend on into yesterday, it's been pretty decent fishing. It sort of really kicked in. I really got some good reports. I was down in Mexico Beach tournament. I went over to Cape and all, so I got to feel Friday talking to a lot of people. And that last week, the redfish really showed up in St. Joe Bay. It's really a good, they were really catching a lot of redfish last week in St. Joe Bay and through the weekend. But we fished the Mexico Beach tournament, and I'll get to that in just a second. Let's look at some of these pictures. Here's our buddy Kyle Pridgeon. He's been on the show before. He got second place on the Money Trail tournament out of Apalachicola. He got 18 pounds, and this was a 6.5 pound lunker right here. A nice bass right there, fishing out of Apalachicola. In fact, here's the, he's fishing with Clint Kelly on the Real Money Trail. That's 4 nice bass right there. Good job, boys. Speaking of nice fish, Chris Walding sent this, a pair of 25-inch redfish. Really, that's a good pair right there, Chris Walding. Okay, now this is the Emerald Coast Redfish tournament. I just got the results too, but here are the winners. Congratulations to the Power Pole, Total Boat Control, Florida Pro Redfish Series in the Emerald Coast Division. And the winner is Bobby Weir and Matt Shane. And both of these guys are good fishermen. They win a lot of tournaments, and that's them with a $3,000 check this past Saturday. Good fishermen right there. And here's another picture of them right here. And now here's our next. Not only was all kind of other fish going on, but look at Bubba Kelly. He went out looking for mullet, he told us, and he's having mullet for dinner. And remember, we've been talking about it this past week or two, that mullet's starting to show up and putting a little bit of fat on them, which people like. And old Bubba went out and got a good mess of mullet. He's starting to see some people, like I say, in September, you're going to start seeing a lot of nets being thrown, especially in October. Here's a picture. Harris Kruggs posted this. He fished the Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association tournament. That's his big king mackerel right there. Good job, Harris. Okay. Oh, this is a little family picture. I got to show this. This is funny. This is my little granddaughter. She don't know little anymore. Maddie came out of the house. They all come out for Sunday dinner, and she brought her car. And she got a new car, just turned 16, got a car and all that kind of stuff. But what she wanted, she came out there, brought her car out there, and she wanted a Panhandle outdoor sticker on her back window. So we put it on for her. and that's my first grandchild with her first vehicle, so that was important. And I was sort of tickled that she actually came out there. She wanted a Panhandle Outdoor sticker on that car. Of course, they put other stickers on too, but she wanted her granddad's sticker on the decal. And by the way, I've about run out of decals. I'm gonna order some more. A lot of y'all ask about them, and I'll be glad to give you one. But we need to order some more. They had some at Sunjammers, but they're all gone there too, and we'll get some more. Okay. I did want to mention the Gag Grouper fall season. This is a big deal now. We caught a lot of grouper Saturday also. It's going to open up September 1st. That's it's going to be Friday. It's going to open up and go all the way through December in our 4 counties on our eastern end of viewing area: Franklin County, Wakulla County, Jefferson County, and Taylor County. So be aware of that. Okay. Let's see. This is Jerry Forehand, David Conrad, and Tennessee friend Kurt Taylor out of Mexico Beach. I got several pictures of these guys here. Nice red snapper being caught. They're fishing with Captain David Rich, a weeball on Benny Whitehead's boat. Okay, this is not my nephew. Someone sent me a picture. This is my nephew Levi, and that is a fine redfish right there, Levi. Very good job. Okay, and here are the results on the redfish tournament. We just got those this morning. Like I say, first place was Bobby and Matt. They had 14 pounds and 14.2. But look how close second place was with Brad Henry and Jason Bryant. They were only like 19.19 out. And then it goes down. But look at the 11-pound category. Look at all of them in 11 pounds. Let's see some local guys. Number 10 in the power pole division, Fred and Justin. They're 11.52. And look, I got beat out by 0.11 and then 0.9. Look out, and then 0.3. Look at those on the right-hand side in those 11-pound categories. 12th place, Mark Coward and Michael Coward. They had 11 pounds also, 11.02. It's amazing how close these tournaments are. That's why you just try to get them in there. I want to say a special happy birthday to my great nephew. He just turned 10 years old, and they're in Bristol, up in Liberty County. Here's Dylan Chester. And you can see the family raising him right. He's got a little baseball uniform on. He's got a Kit Kat and got plenty of ice cream to celebrate his birthday. Happy birthday, Dylan. Okay, enough on that. I do want to talk about the. I tell you what, let's go and take a break. I'm gonna come back and talk about the Mexico Beach tournament we just had. Okay, welcome back. Let's speak a minute about this past Saturday's Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association tournament. We fished it hard. Folks, we caught a bunch of fish. I was Terry Guy. Our captain was Andy Weeks. It was his boat, a 25-foot Parker. The 3 of us fished, and we had first time fished with these guys, and we had a wonderful day on the water. We caught a bunch of fish. We didn't catch any big king mackerel, but we caught 25. We quit counting. We caught king mackerel all day long. But the only problem we had, we couldn't keep the doggone red snapper off the line. That's a good problem to have, isn't it? We fish the same way I fish with Tony and Wendy, and basically, you find some good bottom, good spot, you anchor your boat, and then you sort of free line. By free lining, if you're not sure what it is, you get some live bait and sometimes dead bait, whatever you have, and just on each side of the boat, just let it drift behind you on the top water. Now keep that in mind, on top water. And then you set out a chum bag. A chum, of course, you know what chum is, in a chum bag, and it just gradually draws the fish up. Well, our problem is started drawing up the red snapper. We limited out red snapper. I think the first hour and a half, we had our limited red snapper, and then had to start releasing a lot of them. We caught kings, and a doggone triggerfish got in the way, and caught a lot of triggerfish. We did fish bottom and caught a lot of other stuff off the bottom too. But we had a great time. But we didn't place. But I want to congratulate the tournament staff and all, because they were able to get 131 boats in that tournament. And if I'm correct, I think I am. I don't think there's any tournament from Pensacola all the way down that would get that many boats in it on like a near shore tournament like that. So congratulations to that. I don't have all the results. I do have some of the pictures and all we'll show later. But it was a good tournament, and we had a really good time. I really fished with 2 guys I hadn't fished with before. We had a great time, and we're certainly we made a commitment. We're going to do that every year, and we know what we're going to win it next year. We got the game plan. So. And I'll be honest with you, we really didn't get out of sight of land. I could see land on the horizon. We just didn't go out that far. And one reason really because of the weather, but we got on a hole, we got on a spot, and they were steady. And let me mention this too. We were on this spot. We were the first one out there. This is a private spot. Now, not public. There's a lot of public areas around Mexico Beach, a lot of public places. But we're on a place that that we had found. Well, Andy had found it. Andy and one other guy knew about this spot. They're the only ones. It was their spot. And as you know, we were the first ones there, and we anchored up, fish showing up on the screen, and started chumming. And here comes the boat. He stayed a little ways off, and then here comes another boat. And before we know it, there were like 3 boats around us. But then one boat came, and these other boats were released. They were away from us just a little bit, like 200 or 300 yards, but they were on our spot. And and then this other boat came up. I won't call the name. You'll see it in the video. I had a video maybe Thursday, and it came up, and it got up less than. Remember I talked about 100-yard distance. Let's keep 100 yards away from everybody, even in scalloping. Folks, they got up like 50 yards from us, and they're looking at us, and they're looking at us and all. They stayed there probably half an hour. It just irritated us because this was our spot. It's like so what they did, and right before they left, we saw the guy. He started punching in the number where we were, and that's just to me that's a low life outdoorsman. You're gonna come steal somebody else's number like that. And you'll see it on the show. And that's the only bad thing happened all day long. It was just irritating. It's, basically you're stealing somebody else's number they found, and they're fishing that spot, and you come right on top of them just because you got a big fancy boat. So you may be watching. If you are watching the show, you're not a very good outdoorsman, and I don't respect your outdoor activities the way you do things. Okay. Nothing being said about that, but you'll see it on the video. I do want to go to. I want to move on to one thing. I was going to bring a tip for today. I would like to do a tip at least several times a week. And I had all my stuff together Friday. I did not take this with me on the trip. I didn't need it. When I go on another boat, I don't bring some of the things like this, a knife and all. But this knife here is such a handy knife, okay? I want to show you just the special things about it. It's a fillet knife, okay? It's easy to find, especially in the dark if you're cleaning it at the dark and all. But you can also sharpen it. It's got a file on the back of it, okay? You can sharpen it there. And then what's cool on the holster, okay, look, it makes a little pair of pliers. You can actually take hooks out and do stuff like that. It's just an innovative, and you know how I love little inventions like this, and that's just a good knife, okay? And so make sure you got a couple of good knives. And when I'm cleaning, like when I'm cleaning red snapper, I have a fillet knife, but also have a serrated edge, bigger knife where you can cut through the bone. So that's really, you need 2 knives to clean a big fish and all. I do want to mention, I want to give our condolences here on Panhandle Outdoors to the Ron Hall family. Ron Hall was the owner of the Queen Fleet here in Panhandle. Ron Hall's Queen Fleet, he passed away last week. Ron was from Union Springs, Alabama, and he ended up buying about 20 plus years ago, he bought the Queen Fleet, the Davis, from the Davis family. The Queen Fleet originally started with George Davis and with 3 sons, Joe, Ed, Duck, and Grover. And they were it's a legendary fleet. And Ron had 2 of the boats. He had the Florida Queen and the, I believe, the Star Queen. Those 2 boats there was his. And of course, Captain Bobo ran the Florida Queen and still does a tremendous job with it. And Ron's wishes were he wanted his ashes spread across the Gulf of Mexico. So we send our condolences to it. Now it's going to be interesting to me as a historian and a avid outdoorsman to see what will happen to the Queen Fleet next, because the Davis family started it. Ron Hall ran it successfully for 20 plus years, and now we'll see the next segment, see what happens with it too. But it has some great history behind it. It's been a well-run business, and it's going to be interesting to see. I know Bobo is the longest running captain in Florida. He's got captain license 55 years, so it's going to be interesting to see that. I also want to mention, that brings me into another segment I want to do. In fact, I'm at a break right now. Let me go and do this break right here. But let me add some names to the pickle jar. People are still entering, which is still good because we're going to be giving some stuff away pretty soon for our fall sweepstakes. Coming in from Ebro, James Lewis Weeks. Okay. I fished with Andy Weeks. I wonder if you can to him. Denise Merckx from Lynn Haven. Robert Colmetz from Ponce de Leon. And Debbie Colmetz from Ponce de Leon. So very good. Those 4 people are now in our sweepstakes. All right. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's look at a fishing game time for today. We're looking at, this is brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Man, they got a hopping business down there, I'm telling you. You got a lot of folks down there. 6:39 to 8:39 a.m. That was right now. And this evening, 7:03 to 9:03. And like I say, the redfish were tearing it up last week in St. Joe Bay, and the flounder picked it up all of a sudden. So we're going to talk a lot more about that. I want to get into the I want to mention Miller Marine. I want to talk about Mandy Miller for a second because it ties in with what I was talking about, the Davis Queen Fleet. Now, Mandy's mother, okay, Mandy's dad is Mike Miller. Mike Miller's, okay, his mom is Mary Nell Miller, and I'm gonna, okay, and her picture right here in the book. This is Mary Nell. This is Mandy's grandmother back in the 1950s, working the boats, okay. And her daddy was George Davis, who started the Queen Fleet. So you see, Mandy's like the fourth generation of the Davis family, and she's in a boating business sort of herself, working for Dad at Miller Marine. In fact, one of my favorite pictures in the book is her mother in her 20s, right here. This picture right here, and the story behind that. That's George Davis. That's the Davis with Queen Fleet. That's her mom and dad. And she was dating this guy in the Air Force, and when the war ended in 1945, when the war ended, the Davis family, George Davis, wanted to go. It had been closed for 4 years, the whole area, Crooked Island Sound. And Mandy, well, Mike was telling us the story, and Mike's mom told me the same story because she was there. So I heard the story from the horse's mouth. She said when the war ended, she was dating this guy from the Air Force, from Tyndall, and he was in security, so he brought them. They were the first ones to fish Crooked Island Sound when the war ended, okay, because it's legal to do it. And that was from a morning fishing trip. But can you see all those flounder and all that? That's in the book and all. I just love that story. So anyway, like I say, Man and I went out to lunch last week at Sand Hill Seafood. We were talking, just had a great time. And what Miller Marine's doing now, you know, they really haul boats out and they refinish boats and do all kinds. It's a shipyard. But Mandy has started a store. She and Megan. And Megan's working out there now, sister. It's called the Ship Store. And if you know, if you're well aware of what's going on the waterfront, the old store that was just all the old timers went to, everybody that had anything marine related, everybody went down to Panama Marine, down there on Jinx Avenue, or on 5th Street and all. And that was the place. It was a go-to place for I don't know how many years. And the family, they passed away and the store closed. And that was just, you know, it was really bad news for people who do anything with boats because you could get anything down there. And I would drive from Southport all the way down there to get something from one of my boats or something over the years. It was just because they had it, you could find it. Well, the good news is that Mandy, they were able to purchase about 80% of that stock. And they moved it up to Southport in the Miller Marine, and they have a store. We have a room that's got everything up and brought I can't remember the name, Tony always down there, and he's up there running it for them, you know, getting it set up and everything. So Amanda's excited about that, and he's going to come on the show and talk about it. I just want to pass that on to you because it's fascinating and just pleasing to me to see generation after generation still working in the marine business and still, you know, being successful and still trying to help people along the water. So we're going to I'm just real tickled about that. So we'll talk more about that later. But anyway, we had a good time. So what I want to get to next, and it's going to bring me I don't have time to finish, but I want to talk about with the big hurricane out in Houston over the weekend and all. And I really think that caught people by surprise. I don't think they were prepared. It hadn't one hit there in a long time, but I always think about here, not if that's going to happen again, but when it happens again, you know, what all we need to do along the waterfront. And I always think, I live on the water myself, and we went through Opal, and I saw firsthand the enormous damage that the force and power of nature can do. And it's changed my life. It's changed my whole perspective as far as looking at outdoor things when Opal hit. So I know what those folks were going through along the waterfront there in Houston, all along the Texas coast. A lot of them are in shock, I can promise you, because they had no idea. So anyway, what I want to, again, I personally just, every summer I just go over in my head, you know, say one is out there and headed this way, what am I going to do first? What am I going to do second? And I know what I need to do now. I didn't know what I needed to do in 1995 when Opal hit, and we were totally unprepared. But now I know. And I want to just urge you, especially if you moved in within the past 15 or 20 years, I want to urge you to get you a plan together if one is going to hit, especially if you're along the water. I'm not talking about beachfront. I'm talking about, here's where the damage, folks, up in the bays and the bayous. If you look on that map of Houston, it shows where everything flooded. It's way up in those bays and bayous. And I'm talking about mile inland and all. And that water, the water just doesn't seep up in most places. A lot of times those waves like us, it's just pounded. It knocked out the walls of the house. I could stand at one end of my house and look at the other end and look at the trees on the other side of the house by looking through to my house. It was an incredible amount of damage. So every time the hurricane gets out there, I think about it, and that just did build up the, it just did touch the Category 4 stage. And really, if you look at Opal history, Opal was a Category 5 and dropped down to a 4. So those storms are similar. And what happens too, especially when it sits there a little bit, it spins up, picks up that storm surge, and it really blows it in hard and strong. And now with the technology and social media the way it is, I could go online and look on YouTube, and so many people are taking pictures. You could see some, genuine pictures of the wall, the eye wall when it hit. You can see how everything's horizontal and blowing horizontal. Fascinating. But my point to you, I want you to understand to get ready and be prepared when it does come. And I'm not, and just have in mind what you need to do. And I want to tell you something. I don't have time to get into it, but the next couple of days I want to tell you some things to do that I learned the hard way that I should have done, and I'm going to do it next time a storm comes. On the good news, when the storm comes in, always some good news with the bad news. After the storm gets out of here and things settle down, fishing is phenomenal. What happened, it really does. It blows grouper in from way offshore. It blows them all the way in if grouper season open. Big red snapper get blown in shallow water, and they'll get concentrated around any kind of structures they can find. And fishing is phenomenal, and you can limit out within an hour. I can promise you, with really big fish, you just have to cull them. So that's the good news on it, and but a lot of bad news too. So just be prepared, and we'll talk more about it. We've got a special guest coming in tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm going to surprise you for tomorrow's guest. So you have a great day today. You do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.